Welcome to DTS 55. We had a big weekly update with new Weapon Foundry showing off a bunch of pretty new Taken King weapons, and Gamescom is in just 2 weeks. They're definitely going to show some stuff off there.
You're listening to Destiny the Show. Welcome, Guardians.
What is good, everybody? My name is BBKDRAGOON, joined as always by my great co-host Ditty. How are you doing today?
Very well. I am no longer considered a Destiny scrub lord.
Oh yes, I saw the tweet. Tell the listeners.
I got the Galahorn. On the
That's
Xbox.
exciting.
On the Xbox.
Yep. Where'd you get it?
After losing a salvage game of all places,
Yes.
I just decided I just turned the stream off from last week, and I decided, I've got my 16th hard light now. Why not? Let's go ahead and use it and I need auto rifle Grimoire, so I'm just gonna use hard light for the rest of those kills. And then I lose, and then I just get the Galahorn, and so
Just out of nowhere.
And I was just like, oh, I'm not streaming, I'm not recording, no one's seeing this reaction.
Your YouTube senses were tingling.
I know, right? I was freaking out.
I saw a picture. You've already leveled it up almost all the way, and it's been, I think, 3 hours, right?
2. Yeah. Yeah, 2 hours after I got it, I had Wolfpack rounds unlocked and the next damage upgrade.
Yeah.
And then the next circle after that is the final tree column, and it was 3/4 of the way filled up, and I didn't have any more glimmer. And I had already done the bounties on my Titan, so I lost all of that experience.
Yeah.
So that was super unfortunate.
Couldn't do it all at once.
No, I could have, but it just wasn't available.
You and I got to play on stream this week. You were doing the streaming. I hopped on board last night. We had a lot of fun playing some Clash.
Yeah, it was nice, relaxing atmosphere. It was fun.
Indeed, man. Pro PvP tip. If you're getting frustrated, go play with friends. I have a really hard time playing Destiny PvP by myself if I'm doing something that isn't Rumble, just because it's so momentum-based. When you have a teammate or a friend, it's so chill. It's so much better of an experience. It's like everything in Destiny is better with a friend,
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to make one of those like encouraging motivational posters that you see in math class where it's like the cat that's like, you can do it, but just like it's better with friends, and like these 2 guardians holding hands or some crap. So anyway, let's hop into the news. First up on the news this week was, well, the Bungie weekly update, talking about Weapon Foundries. Diddy, do you want to take the overview of this one?
Basically, new brands of weapon. We know the Osiris regime, obviously, and they're just taking that and expanding on that idea, where they're creating different brands of weapons where if you see it, you know exactly what brand it is. And
exactly.
They touched on a few of them. What were they? How do you say that? Hake?
Hake? I don't know.
Hake.
The listener can tell us how wrong we are.
I'm scrolling down here. Amalon, which is the foundry that I think did Hardlight. So
yes.
Hype, and Suros, obviously, which we already know and love.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of pictures of those weapons and a little bit of description, kind of lore behind them. Each of the weapon, I'm just going to call them brands or foundries or what they were calling them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so each of the weapon foundries have characteristics, not only visual characteristics that, you can identify pretty quickly, but the way they handle and kind of the stuff, what they talk about. So like for Hake, building reliable tools built for soldiers in the field. Hake values simplicity over intricacy, function over flair. Hake weapons all start with a more tightly focused band of base stats that don't spike as high or low as other weapon families, granting a solid foundation for growing the weapon. On a Hake talent grid, you'll see a simplified set of scopes that work best for the weapon. Front-loaded perk nodes with the stat upgrade options occupying the final column. I'm going to cut there because they keep talking about more of this stuff, but like really interesting the way they're talking about these weapons. I feel like they are, okay, this is just a stab in the dark here. it feels like they're using this as the new great equalizing platform. You have 3 weapon foundries, maybe some more to choose from. And right now in Destiny, what do we have? We have a hodgepodge. We have a goodie basket. We have everything under the sun, and you've got weapons that handle very differently from one another. Am I crazy off base in thinking that this feels almost like a way for them to control the sandbox and bring it a little bit tighter?
No, I think you're pretty close here. And the last thing that you read is that they're front-loaded perk nodes with stat upgrade options occupying the final column. It almost seems like each weapon foundry is going to have a different way of leveling up. So right now
it sounds long.
Right now you have the perk and then the middle column and then another perk, right?
Yes.
And I think it seems like the Hake weapons, you're going to have the middle tree moved to the very end. So you can have that option towards the end. And as you level up the weapon, it's just going to change the way these weapons act out and play out in game itself.
Exactly. So if we look at the Amalon text that they wrote about the Amalon weapons, it says, sporting lighter ergonomic frames, Amalon weapons all start with generous base handling stats to build from. Amalon talent grids focus on behavioral perks over stat customization. Legendary talent grids are the only weapons that offer 3 perks. 1 as the first non-scope upgrade, and 2 as a binary choice in the final column. Perk selection favors perks that are energy-based and or go beyond the weapon to interact with the wielder's abilities or status. So 2 things here from that statement. Number 1, when it brings up legendary talent grids are the only weapons that offer the 3 perks. That makes it sound like you're going to have Amalons that are not legendary, that maybe blues are going to come back into play again, or maybe even green Amalon weapons. The other thing here is they're describing why these weapons, like where you will see their increase during the XP leveling process of the weapon. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain, but like when they say it starts with a generous base handling stat, okay, well, why does that matter? If you ask me today, Ditty, you've almost leveled your Yalahorn. Do you think they're going to make weapon leveling a little bit longer and maybe more pronounced? That way players have to choose which weapon foundry suits them and which one they want to spend the time with.
I don't know. It's interesting because if one weapon foundry takes longer to level up than another, then we'll see favoritism there, right? It's like, I get this gun, I need to level up. I need a legendary weapon to level up really quick. I can't use that weapon foundry even though I like those perks. So that's gonna, if that's true, then that's gonna cause some issues there. But what does it mean by their let's see, legendary talent grids are the only weapons that offer 3 perks?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're ditching some of those triple node things that we've seen before.
Yeah, so maybe Amalon weapons just have 3 perks and you don't get options there.
Maybe so. We'll see. The Suros text reads this. Suros believes in options. Weapons that can be repurposed for a variety of combat situations. You're laughing at the regime, aren't you?
I'm just laughing. It's just funny the way that's phrased.
Suros talent grids offer 2 columns of 2 stat perks, granting more options for changing weapon stats than any other foundry. The single behavior perk is grounded in the middle of the talent grid as a focus point for the weapon's core potential. If you want a weapon that can flex from CQ, close quarters to ranged, quick to powerful, fast handling to hard hitting, all with the swap of a few nodes, it's Suros.
Yeah,
cool.
So it sounds like we were right, or you were. I don't know who said it, but it sounds like they're changing the way weapons are being upgraded, right? So with Suros, you're going to have 2 columns of interchangeable perks, and then 1 in the middle of like shot package, right? Something like that. And I think that's actually really cool because we're going to have more options now. And they introduced weapon reforging with House of Wolves, and you can re-roll pretty much almost every legendary weapon there is right now in the game. But there is a best roll for a specific weapon archetype. And with these new weapon foundries coming out, it sounds like we're going to have tons more options. There's not going to be one specific champion of weapon perks.
Hello. I am super sorry. That was an emergency call that I had to take. We're good.
No
we
worries.
Keep going.
Do you want me to redo
Yes,
that section?
yes. If it's still fresh on your head, do the last few sentences right before I cut you off. I'm really sorry about that.
I don't think I can do the last couple sentences. I can just reiterate my ideas.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I'm going to start after you say swap a few weapon nodes, Suros.
Yeah, okay. Suros.
So yeah, it sounds like we were right, or I don't know who said it, but it sounds like with these new weapon foundries, we're going to be able to have more options in the perk trees, with, what is it? Hake, whatever. Somebody tell us on Twitter how to pronounce this word.
Hake for now.
Hake for now. So it sounds like Hake, you have that option tree upgraded last. So with the Amalon, you get 3 different perks and you don't get options. But with Suros, you get 2 trees of options and then 1 middle perk, just like shot package or something. And it's, with the weapons we got with House of Wolves, they introduced weapon reforging, and they said, oh, you're going to have tons more options with the ability to reforge any legendary weapon you want. But to be honest, there is a king role. There is a best role for a specific weapon archetype.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But it sounds like with these new weapon foundries, we're going to have a lot more options for weapon archetypes. We're going to have let's just say we're going to have a Suros regime with the option to either have focus fire, final round, or I don't know, field scout or something dumb like that, right? In one specific tree, and you have just tons of options. You can customize that weapon to do whatever you want. Say, I want a messenger with the tree being reactive reload, head seeker, or secret round, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, something like that. And you just pick between those 3, and depending on what you're feeling in that Crucible match or that strike or that raid, you just pick that perk, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah. You brought up something really important with reforging there. The way I see this, and this is my perfect world, I would love if they got rid of reforging, because there is a god roll on weapons. There is that awesome thing. I hate re-rolling stuff and doing that random process of saying goodbye to your motes. I've had great luck sometimes in the first few, and then other times I've wasted, oh my gosh, 20 re-rolls just trying to get what I want, and I end up with a worse roll.
Re-rolls.
What's that?
I've spent at least 300 motes of light on my low-grade humility, and I still don't have the good roll.
It doesn't feel good. It's not satisfying. And so the way I see
it,
you look at a Hake auto rifle, or okay, let's go Suros, because Suros was actually, they said, more choices. So you get a Suros auto rifle. Everybody who has that Suros auto rifle has all the same perks, okay, all the same options, but they can choose how they want to set that perk roll up to where it's not inhibiting. You know what I'm saying? So Suros regime, right now, it has an optimal perk set. But let's say, this is patch 2.0 in place. You've got a new Suros weapon. Maybe you have the option to customize that Suros the way you want to. And everybody has those perks available. They don't have to go through the dumb reroll process to actually get them. It's how you choose it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. And just for example, with the Suros there, and you talked about with the weapon patch 2.0, auto rifles are kind of fitting a submachine gun class.
Yeah.
You can have a Suros auto rifle with hip fire and rapid fire, meaning it shoots faster but deals less damage per bullet, and field scout, right?
Yeah.
And you can optimize that way if you like to rush in and be close quarters. Or you can have that exact same auto rifle with focus fire, which increases damage but shoots slower, increased range, and increased accuracy at a distance, so you can use it to a pulse rifle mid to long range engagement. You can just customize it to fit your playstyle, and I really like this customizable option.
I like it. Now, we're making a lot of inferences that might not come true, but the way this is written really makes me believe that we're on the right track. One cool thing is Hake pulse rifles will fire a burst of 4 rounds with damage adjusted to match the DPS of a 3-round burst, meaning the pulse rounds do a little bit less individually, but as a group, do equal. The fire time between bursts is slightly faster, so that's cool. A 4-shot pulse rifle of Hakes. That's
interesting.
I'm excited about this, to be honest. I think they're maybe wrenching in the far endpoints of the weapons in the game right now, because let's face it, there's not much unity between guns, okay? Like in Destiny right now, everything at the top tier is very different from one another, whereas these Foundries, there's a theme. You'll see an Amalon, and you'll see a theme of, oh, I know kind of how an Amalon handles, or how it feels, how it looks, what it does, and I like that. I really, really like this update so far. Later in the update, they talk about the Destiny Year 1 art contest that has begun already. You can submit. I didn't really pay much attention to it. It's basically artwork that they're looking for, or anything really. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah, I think it's just Destiny fan art. Just if you've created something because you love the game, submit it to the art contest, and on Bungie you can vote for your favorites. And there's some really cool looking stuff over there.
There's some great fan art.
Like some of it's just concept art, and then others is comics. It doesn't have to be one specific thing. It's just everything. It's really cool.
I think videos are available too to submit. 7 people are going to win the collector's edition of the Taken King, while 50 people are going to win a blacksmith shader. Hey, this week, Trials of Osiris, dude. Do you want to tell people how it's working with the map rotations?
Every map we've seen so far in the Trials rotation is available in the Trials of Osiris. Was available in the Trials of Osiris. And I think they're going to keep that moving forward. So go into a Trials match. Originally, it was 1 map per weekend. Now they're doing a map rotation because we kind of begged for that. And it was interesting because on the week that it was Cauldron, I really hate that map. I never do well on it. I didn't really play Trials that week. And this week, it was a lot more difficult because I could go on a 7-win streak, almost get my flawless, and then I would get Cauldron, and I would just lose because I psych myself out every single time. And it's a lot more difficult because your fire team has to adjust to the map playstyle. Because one map, Pantheon, I'm using Red Death because of its longer ranges. Black Shield and Cauldron, I have to use Last Word because it's close quarters. So it's nice to adjust playstyles between matches.
Yep. If you like it or if you don't like it, you can let Bungie know. There's a link on the weekly update, which you can get to from our website, destinytheshow.com, in which this week is an experiment, they say. We know you'll tell us what you think, but please do it here, and it links to the feedback forum. So if you like it or dislike it, please let Bungie know. Personally, I dislike it. I like having 1 map for the weekend. I would also like to be able to vote for what map we're going to have that weekend, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Some people might like it. Like, it sounds like, Ditty, you like the fact that they did this?
As opposed to it being Cauldron all weekend?
All
yes.
right, okay. See, that raises another issue we'll have to talk about in the topic, though. So, hotfix 1.2.0.5. So many. I shouldn't say the points, should I? I should just say 1.2.05. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be coming before the Taken King. It's going to include the Nepal digital rewards for those of you who purchased the Nepal fundraiser, where you spent, I think, $25, got the t-shirt, and you're getting a shader. So the shader and emblem codes will be delivered via email, and that's going to come with the hotfix sometime between now and 2.0. That means sometime between now and September 15th. They're going to fix Husk of the Pit again. It's not dropping. Great. And they're going to increase the drop rate from the original drop rate. So sometime between now and then, they're going to fix that with the hotfix, and we can finally get that gun.
Can't you only get it from the Eris mission at this point? Because Blades of Crota don't spawn in anymore. It's
just the Fist of Crota.
Yeah, it's the Fist of Crota mission, and you spawn in, just Sparrow to him and kill him. And that's the only way to get that weapon now. So it's going to be super rare because the House of Wolves Are Prowling event is going on, and that replaced Blades of Crota.
Dude, I've tried for 5 hours trying to get a Husk of the Pit drop and have not gotten it. It makes me... I don't care that Necrochasm sucks. I still want that gun.
They're buffing it, so it's going to be more useful.
All right. Well, we'll see after Weapon Foundries get into the mix what's going to rock. Our second piece of news today was the pre-order stuff. So some pre-order things were leaked about Suros Arsenal Pack pre-order bonuses. There was a picture from GameStop saying, if you pre-order the Taken King from us, you're going to get stuff. So here we go. This is in Deej's words himself, fixing the issue. Early access to the Suros Arsenal Pack is available starting September 15th. The Suros Arsenal Pack can be attained by pre-ordering the digital or physical edition of Destiny, the Taken King, or by the purchase of the digital or physical collector's edition. Suros Arsenal Pack can also be obtained through gameplay starting January 1st, 2016. Suros Arsenal Pack is not exclusive to any retail or platform, subject to availability. So what does that mean? The offer will be available to all players outside of the United States. This includes pre-orders of the $40 and $60 versions, not just the collector's edition. And yes, if you've already pre-ordered a qualifying edition, you are included. And these are like 3 Suros weapons that you get when you get the game. But we don't know if they're legendary. If you remember back when Destiny Vanilla came out, you got Vanguard weapons. They weren't legendary. They were green weapons that you use when you're leveling from like level 6 to 10. So,
yeah,
I don't know. But the community, again, as we like to do, threw a hissy fit and got cray-cray on Reddit and Twitter about, I don't want to pre-order from GameStop. I don't live in the U.S. Well, guess what? It's everybody. So I haven't pre-ordered it yet. Have you?
No, I actually haven't.
Okay. Well, let's hop into the topic.
Salvaged relic data is now decrypted. Not of consequence.
Evening, Guardian. Earn your honor, Guardian.
Titan survey data requested by Vanguard.
Today's topic, Gamescom, is in, 2 weeks, Ditty, I think, in and around there?
Yeah.
We know Taken King is going to be shown off there. One of the things that was mentioned at the end of the weekly update was next week, we're scouting the Dreadnought. So this Thursday, they're going to talk about the Dreadnought, and the week after that, we're going to Germany. Every hero shot we took during our weapons inspection this week came from the build we're taking to Gamescom. So they're going to be showing off the new weapon foundries at Gamescom. Come and see us in the PlayStation booth, and we'll let you fire off a few virtual rounds if you're in the neighborhood. So I'm curious to think what's going to be shown at Gamescom, and if they're going to talk more than just the multiplayer demo. What do you think?
I really hope we see... Well, they're talking about the Dreadnought next week, right? So maybe they'll actually show some gameplay of the Dreadnought at Gamescom, because I've heard that the Destiny build at Gamescom is going to be updated from E3.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited because I want to see the new patrol area, and we're going to see that next week before Gamescom. But I want to see it in action. Maybe it's my dream to see like a story mission at Gamescom on the Dreadnought, but it's not going to happen because I'm excited.
We got some press images this week of what looked like the first mission, so maybe we will see some shots from that, and they've been showing some more video footage of that. Do you think we would see a trailer for the raid, maybe?
Ooh, maybe not for the raid. Because
you don't think?
No, they like to keep that stuff secret forever.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the Dark Below cinematic teaser was teasing the Crota raid, so yeah, maybe we'll see a teaser trailer, maybe 30 seconds for the Dreadnought raid.
Yeah, Dark Below was the raid. I mean, let's face it. Not much else came from that. But they probably will hold on to the raid teaser, because the way it worked with the original Destiny was Vault of Glass didn't come out for 2 weeks, right? And then hard mode didn't come out till later.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and same thing, Dark Below, the raid was available at launch, but the hard mode wasn't available for like another month. I actually love when they stagger that stuff, because it gives players time to do the normal mode first and then get geared up for the hard mode, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think you're going to see a new build. It's going to be multiplayer. They're going to be playing Mayhem and Rift, the 2 new game modes. We'll see these new weapon foundries, what they look like. I don't think they're going to show off or talk about the new gear. Every time we get pictures from these dev builds, they have these ridiculous light levels. There was one with light level 483. So don't trust dev builds, okay? They're not accurate. This is something that was built there. I think we may see some kind of a trailer. Something. Maybe a story tease, but the raid trailer is probably not something we'll see until like a month or two out. We'll go out with like a pre-order bonus, the next time they announce another pre-order bonus kind of a thing. So I'm looking forward to that. House of Wolves, shortcomings and stuff. That's the headline I wrote for this topic. So what could have made House of Wolves the cream of the crop, the top of the tip, the best of the best? Top of the tip, wow, nice, cool. We want to talk about House of Wolves now that we've had this for a while. and what steps we think could have been done to maintain it. Because while Ditty and I both agree that was a pretty good story, right? We enjoyed the story missions.
The story mission was better than Vanilla Destiny and better than Dark Below. It made me interested in what I was doing.
Agreed. And we liked the first 5 weeks of Prison of Elders. We really did, I think, right?
Yeah.
And Trials. We really liked Trials until the rotation started to repeat itself. So what realistic steps do you think could be changed to make House of Wolves better? And what themes would carry over into the Taken King? So if you say, I think they need to sustain stuff better, do you think that plays into the Taken King as well? What workflows should Bungie start looking at to maintain things in between expansions a little bit better?
So I think when we talk about House of Wolves, we kind of have to talk only about endgame content, right? Because that's all the expansion was. Aside from the story missions, we had Prison of Elders, right? The introduction
of the new social space.
The new social space and Trials, right? So we're going to talk about Prison of Elders and Trials. So with Prison of Elders, they introduced the arena game mode, and people since launch were like, why doesn't Destiny have a horde mode? Because this game just screams horde mode. And so I think this was Bungie's answer to that. You go into a room, you fight wave after wave of enemy, and you complete an objective. That's cool, but when it's the same thing every single week, it does get really repetitive. And the worst part about it is the rewards earned do not. They
suck.
Yeah, they suck. They don't really. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not comparable to the time and effort put into earning it, right?
No. People
do Skolas, all 6 rounds of Skolas. It takes some people like 3.5 hours, right?
Yep.
And then you get her benevolence, well, not her benevolence, but like the shotgun, right?
Yeah.
A rerollable legendary shotgun. Yip-de-doo. I was using my perfect Matador roll the whole time, and it's, I don't know. But I think one of the main issues people have with Prison of Elders is the reward system, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't get, from the chest, you get the Queen's weapons. That's cool and all, but
which are average. And even if you get like a perfect roll, dude, they are still just above average, most of them, unless you got a Queen's Emissary.
Yeah, and you get the weapon core and the armor core. The stuff that Varix sells, I'm thinking about the armor specifically, right? The armor that Varix has that you can get from the Judgment chance as well. It has different perks to help you in Prison of Elders. I think that's really cool. But when you only sell discipline and strength, it's not good, right?
No.
For the first 3 weeks, it was like strength, strength, strength. So if you got all of those armor pieces, you had like 630 strength just from those 3 armor pieces. And
it didn't make sense.
Yeah, so that doesn't really make sense. And we just need more variety in the Prison of Elders experience.
Totally. Curated experiences for 5 weeks. We were in there every week. We did them. The level 34s are what I'm talking about. I loved how different each of the bosses were. They were fun and they were challenging. And then after the end of that 5 weeks, I have zero motivation to continue doing it purely because the rewards stink. I would love it if there was an element of randomness or if they would just keep adding more of these curated experiences. I'm not saying you have to build new art models for these guys, but maybe just change the fights up a little bit. That probably takes a lot more manpower than what I'm making it sound like. So
no, yeah, because it's exactly right. Because after those 5 weeks, once we see that repeat Prison of Elders experience, we know exactly what's going to happen. We know the modifiers, we know the objectives, and we know the boss fight.
Yeah.
And granted, that's kind of what they were going for because, you need to learn the experience. The raid doesn't change every week, right?
No.
The Vault of Glass is the exact same every single time, but it's more enjoyable because the rewards you get, they feel like they're more earned. Like
desirable, dude.
Fatebringer, Found Verdict, Praetorian Foil dropped for somebody in my raid this past week, and that's like the rarest weapon in the game. And
is it really?
I think so. I almost never see
it
drop. Praetorian, you got the fusion rifle from Vault?
Yeah.
Dang, you're lucky.
I haven't even leveled it yet.
It's really good in Vault of Glass, and
Nice.
it's just like it feels like you really earn those weapons. With Prison of Elders, it's just kind of like a walk in the park, or it's a super grind fest, and the reward is just a Mote of Light. Yip-de-doo.
Yay! Trials then. Okay, so I'll real quick with House of Wolves. I think the easy way they, address this, make rewards better. Give exotic chances for the 32 or the 34. Maybe just the 34, like without having to open the big chest. I guess keys are pretty easy to come by now. I think,
I guess keys are a lot easier to come by. It's guaranteed for completing those wanted bounties each week. But
yeah,
I think at level 34 and 35, it should be guaranteed from one of the small chests.
Yeah. I think just do away with the Queen's Wrath rerollable stuff, because everything you get, everybody's like, is this good? And you have to tell them, well, it could be if you got this, and that.
If you re-roll it.
Exactly. And that takes all the excitement out because you just got a chore. You didn't get a reward, you got a chore,
Yeah, basically.
Okay, Trials. Trials itself, I love the format, except for the fact that maps don't switch sides, or excuse me, like the players don't switch sides on the map. And I want to be able to vote for the maps. I think we're missing out by not having Fire-Based Elfie, by not having Asylum, by not trying out Rusted Lands. Like, they're probably unbalanced, and some of those maps probably wouldn't fit, but I would love it if the community could actually vote on what next week's map could be, or if they just used a bigger pool, because the pool they selected I'm not a huge fan of. Your thoughts?
Most of the maps in the Trials rotation at the moment are not good for Trials. And some of the vanilla maps, like you said, Fire-Based Elfie, Rusted Lands, Asylum, those 3 maps would be perfect for elimination. Asylum is symmetrical, it's small enough, it's good. It's not a camp fest, and it would take a coordinated team to use that effectively.
Yeah.
Asylum is basically a smaller Pantheon, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And Pantheon is an okay Trials map. Okay, moving on. Rusted Lands is asymmetrical. I don't think it really has a powerful side. Maybe it does for control, but for elimination, I could play either side of that map with ease. And then, what was that third one I mentioned? Fire-Based Elfie. It's unbalanced for control. That's why they reduced the percentage of it popping into Iron Banner and such. Mm-hmm. But for elimination, that map is close quarters enough, but it's also big enough to outmaneuver your enemies. And just the more map rotation would make Trials so much better.
Agreed. Yeah, and switching the side of the map you're on every 2 rounds, I feel like that's so mandatory, and the fact that it hasn't happened is frustrating. So, small things, little bits of maintenance in between the expansions would be very well received from the community. I don't know what kind of manpower that takes from them, and I also don't want to detract from the experience that the Taken King will be, but my hope is that the longer Destiny goes on, the more that they realize this. I mean, look, we didn't even talk about the new hiring of a community manager. Deej is one of the community managers, but we now have Cosmo, who was the founder of /r/Destiny, the game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we have now 2 community managers, and Cosmo's job is to keep his ear to Reddit, forums, YouTube, online, Twitter, the general consensus, and communicate that. My hope is that as time goes on, there's more sustaining maintenance between expansions, so it's not just, hey guys, we've got a great new expansion, it's coming out today, and boom. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is our next expansion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I would have expected like monthly updates to Destiny, monthly changes to just little things, just to keep shaving the sphere that is Destiny. Right now it's kind of bumpy with obviously it has a big thorn in its side, pun intended. But they're just trying to smooth it out with that weapon update, but that could have been prevented with a little bit more consistency in patch updates, more often.
And we are not insinuating anything against Bungie on this one, because we have 2 sides to the coin. Like, I know Bungie works hard, and we had a lot of updates. The hot fixes, there's a lot that happens to Destiny if you look at it from launch until now. But we're talking less in the way of hot fixes, more in the way of, I don't know, maintaining the content.
Yeah, I expected maybe something like an update 1.1.4 5. That
Yeah.
many updates, I think. Because, I mean, after that, if you're not updating the game that often, then why are you even doing the one dot number system?
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see. I think they're still learning and just figuring out what Destiny is, just like the rest of us. But closing thoughts?
Let's look towards the Taken King. I mean, obviously it's a major expansion and Bungie's still learning how the Destiny community reacts to the stuff that they're adding and changing. So I know this podcast was a little bit negative, but we love this game and we are staying positive towards the Taken King. I mean, only good thoughts from here on out for the next expansion.
Yeah. And our critiques come from a passion from playing this game. And I'll say this, I think House of Wolves rocks as an expansion. I think it was really fun and it gives players a decent amount of stuff to do. I'm not taking any of that away. I'm just trying to think for the future, how can we improve? Ditty, where can people find your content?
Twitter.com/Ditty DTS, DITTY DTS, and YouTube.com/Wooshness, WOOOSHNESS.
Excellent. Remember to check out our friends at DestinyTracker.com for the best stat tracking in the Destiny universe. You can go to our website at DestinyTheShow.com for all the links from today and more. You can check us out on Twitch.tv/DestinyTheShow. Ditty has been streaming up a marathon of good stuff with a lot of viewers. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyTheShow. We didn't have time for an It Came From Twitter today, but we read your tweets and we'll talk about them in the future. Thanks for all the nice compliments about last week's mega show. It was a long one. You can find me at BBKDRAGOON on Twitter or youtube.com/BBKDRAGOON. Have a wonderful week, Guardians. Check out the new Foundries, and we'll see you next time.